Hi guys, for today we will be covering the different factors that determine the price of an option. Let's get to it. The price of an option can be broken down into two parts, intrinsic value and extrinsic value. To make it simple, you can think of intrinsic value as what the option is worth now and extrinsic value as what the option could be worth in the future. We'll go through some examples to understand this. You will also see that it is easier to calculate intrinsic value compared to extrinsic value. But the key of this lesson is to understand the various factors affecting option pricing and not perform calculations. I won't go in depth on the calculations because the calculations also depends on which model you use. But if at the end of the lesson you find that you are interested in knowing more about the calculations, you can definitely go to Google to find out more. Okay, so intrinsic value is what the option is worth right now if you exercise it. Let's take a look at an example. In example A, we have a stock with a current price of $100. You bought a call option on this stock, and it is a 110 call option with 30 days to expiration, and you bought this option for $3. For the $3 that you paid, how much of it is for intrinsic and how much of it is for extrinsic value? The intrinsic value of an option is what the option is worth right now. Since you have a 110 call option and the stock price is $100, this option has no intrinsic value currently because the strike price is higher than the stock price. So the intrinsic value of this option is $0. The price of an option is made up of intrinsic and extrinsic value. If an option has no intrinsic value, it means it only has extrinsic value. So this option that you bought only has extrinsic value, and the extrinsic value is $3. Now another example, the same stock is at $100, but in this case, you purchased a 95 call with 30 days to expiration, and you bought this call option for $8.50. So what is the intrinsic and extrinsic value in this example? To calculate intrinsic value, you take the difference between the stock price and the strike price. Since this difference is $5 and this option costs $8.50, the extrinsic value of this option is $3.50. We know that a call option has intrinsic value if the strike price is lower than the stock price. And for puts, it's just the opposite. The strike price has to be higher than the stock price for put to have intrinsic value. You'll find that in most cases when you purchase an option, you are only paying for extrinsic value because you are hoping that the stock will move in your favor in the future. Now let's take a look at extrinsic value. This will be more complicated than intrinsic value, but I want to repeat, just understand the factors that affect extrinsic value and don't worry about the calculation. Okay, so for extrinsic value, you can think of it as paying for the future value of the option. And extrinsic value is made out of two parts. We have time value and implied volatility. Now, time value refers to how much remaining time the option has until expiration. It's the days to expiration or DTE of an option. Options with longer days to expiration will have more time value and they will cost more. Another term you might have heard with regards to time value is theta. Theta refers to the time decay of an option and it's one of the four Greeks. I intend to cover theta in the next video, so I will explain more about it then. Now let's take a look at an example on time value. You have a stock and its price is $100. So there are two options available, both at the same strike prices, but with different expiration. One is a $90 put with 10 days to expiration, and the other is also a $90 put, but with 60 days to expiration. So which of these two options will cost more? The 90 put with 60 days to expiration will cost more. And why is that so? We know that both puts have no intrinsic value currently because their strike prices are below the current stock price. So when you purchase them, you are paying for the extrinsic value. Extrinsic value can be thought of as paying for the future possible value of the option. So we have to look at both options and ask ourselves, which option has a better chance of reaching their strike price and not expiring worthless? You won't know if the stock will move below $90 within the next 10 days. But the option with 60 days to expiration would definitely give you a better chance because there's more time to allow the move to happen. And this is a reason why options with longer days to expiration cost more. Because you are paying for more time to allow the stock to move in your favor so that your option will not expire worthless. Of course, having more time doesn't guarantee that larger moves will happen. Large moves can also happen over a short period of time. To understand this, we look at the other factor of extrinsic value, which is implied volatility. Implied volatility, or IV, can be thought of as how much the stock is expected to move in the future, and it is shown as a percentage. When you see high IVs, this means that large moves are expected to happen. But keep in mind that these are just possibilities. It is not 100% certain that such moves will happen. Also note that these moves can happen both ways, up or down. What I mean is, if you have a stock, ABC, and its implied volatility is 20%. So if 20% implied volatility equals an $8 move, this means a stock for ABC could increase by $8 or decrease by $8. Now let's say at 10% implied volatility, we expect to see an $8 move. When IV increases to say 40%, we expect to see a larger move of maybe $32. But please keep in mind that IV is based on probabilities. The actual move that happen can be different. If at 10% IV you expect to see an $8 move, the stock might move by $12 or $17 instead. Or the actual move could be smaller, and the stock only moves by $2 or $5 instead of $8. But what you will see when IV increases is the price of an option also increases. You will pay more to buy options when the IV for the option is high. So what are the factors that can affect IV? We know that IV tells us how much the stock could move in the future. So any news or future events that could cause the stock to make a large move during the duration of your option will impact implied volatility. For example, say the company is going to release upcoming earnings report, or there is news of an upcoming product launch, or perhaps even rumors of any possible mergers or acquisitions. All these will impact implied volatility. Okay, so we've learned the two factors affecting option prices. They are intrinsic value and extrinsic value. For extrinsic value, it is made up of time value and implied volatility. We can expect to pay more for an option when any of the following is true. The option has moved past its strike price. So for calls, the stock price is higher than the strike price, and for puts, it's the opposite. In this case, you are paying for intrinsic value, or when there's a high number of days to expiration remaining on your option. And in this case, you are paying for extrinsic value, and you will pay more if IV is high during the duration of your option, and you are also paying for extrinsic value in this case. Okay, so I've covered the different factors affecting option pricing. In the next video, we will look at the 4 Greeks of options: delta, gamma, vega, and theta. So feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions, and I will do my best to respond. As always, thank you for watching and see you in the next video.